Very strange thing has happened. I have not even gone live. So the people who are waiting are continuously waiting. One second. Okay, so basically what we try to do in life is to have this Mahatva Akanksha. Mahatva is higher, Akanksha is expectation, Maha is big, Mahatva is the biggest. And the biggest Akanksha is to make oneself as comfortable as possible. That's the whole idea of our existence, is that we want ourselves to exist forever, forever, forever. So that means the Jagat has to be there all the time. So I don't mind creating a Jagat every now and then, because that makes tremendous sense for me. So what Shankara says is that you need to have the other one. Other one is Mokshaya Kanksha. Now, that means I have to drop the second, living for earning. Instead of I have to go for earning for living. This is the most difficult thing to do, is to take a decision of earning for a living. That means you have to add up your bank balances, look at your responsibility, what you think you are, which you don't are. You are not responsible for anything except for yourself. But in Jagat, there is something called as you are responsible for your family. So you have to verify that. And if you think you have sufficient enough, then you can drop it off. Now, why this is urgently required? Because the poison has to be removed immediately. You can't take it in steps, that let me take little by little the medicine so that it will work on the poison. No, you have to take the medicine right here, right now, for the poison not to start showing itself. Now, what is this poison? This poison is the five senses. And why these senses are poisonous? They are poisonous for one single reason, that it will make you to attach with the sense object. So the consciousness cannot say to the mind, don't attach to the sense object. Okay, so this is the major thing. So if we have Moksha Kanksha, then the Jagat has to be nullified. And the Jivi has to be seen as his condition. So what does the Jivi means? That the Jivi means it's only the body with food and all that. Other than that, there is nothing else in that Jivi. So if we start contemplating on that, we will come to know that all that I am doing in this world is to accumulate food. And I'm going to give that to the body once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once in the evening. It doesn't matter what I give it, it is just a matter of giving it. So once I give something to the body, it doesn't ask me again for the next 4 hours. So only thing I need to now tame is the mind. A mind says that why don't we relish this, why don't we relish that? It is saying not because mind is like that, it is because of the senses. So the 5 senses are like the 5 ropes and holding the 5 horses, and the horses are running behind the sense objects. So we need to pull the string so that horses come to a stop. When the horse come to a stop, immediately mind disengages itself with the senses, and senses not having any energy to go behind the sense object, they go to sleep. And when they go to sleep, the mind shines what is there in the consciousness, and that is the nectar. So Shankara talks about two things here: the Vishayan, that is the sense objects, Visham Yatha. So a person who is interested in moksha has to stop the senses from going towards the sense object immediately. Not that going to take some time. Well, let me think today and let me plan and see what is the consequence of that. And I think it is not the right time today. Maybe after few days I will do it. All that is not possible. It has to be done right here and right now as we speak. Then what happens? Piyo Shavat Tosha Daya Kshama Arjava. In the contrast, like nectar, are the virtues of contentment, Tosha, Daya, sympathy, Kshama, forgiveness, Arjava, straightforwardness, Prashanti, calmness, Dantehe, self-control, Bhajanityam Adarat. Cultivate these daily as a religious practice. Now, why should we do this? Why shouldn't we do that? The first one, living for earning, or if we were to say earning for living, is the one we should cultivate, and living for earning we should disconnect. Now, why we should do that is because it is stressful. It's a waste of time, a waste of life. Because after we earn that much, the day we vacate this place, all that will be thrown out. Like in the case of my mother, if I were to take it, she was the first BA graduate in the family at that point in time. And she had kept all her certificates of merits and marks card and all of that. After she died, the only thing we did was to burn all of them without a trace. We not only burnt her body, we also burnt all her certificates, all the hard work she had done in her young age. And all the photographs were burnt. Okay, and that's all what that person had. In her effort of those many years, from the first standard or even nursery to her graduation as a Bachelor of Arts, first time in the family, some girl has done a BA. Her father was so impressed that in this family of so many children, you are one who have done the BA. So she used to keep on telling me that all the time when I was a child. Now all that I could do is burn it off. It took around 10 minutes to burn the whole certificates, marks card and transfer certificate and this and that, and some of her awards and recognitions, and just took 10 minutes. But for that person to do that has taken painstakingly 20 plus years. Okay, so this is what the whole situation is all about. Just give me a second. Anjo. So, if we don't go for the moksha, but we go for the bandhana, the seemingly nectar sweet thing is there right now with all the five senses, but it brings back that existence again and again and again. So if we are ready to do that all the time, this is the best thing we can do, is to keep on continuing doing whatever we are doing. And that's going to be it. Meaning we might learn a lot of things. We might even know the Vedas completely, or the Upanishad completely, or we might be able to speak very well, we might be able to demonstrate and all of that, but that all ends in this life. It doesn't there is no guarantee that it will continue to the next life in the same way, or what would happen, and nothing is known. So when we are in this life, in this body, we should work for liberation only. That means we should stop living for earning, and we should become earning for living. Not that we should not go to work. We should go to work. Absolutely fair. But don't have mahatva akanksha in that. Just do it because you have to earn for your living. But don't have any kind of expectations while at work. If you are appreciated, it's as good as depreciation. If you are depreciated, as good as appreciation. It doesn't really matter. Because if the company were to say that don't come from tomorrow, all that laurels and appreciation and this and that has got no meaning. Now I have to find another job somewhere and start working. So it doesn't really matter what it is going to be. Why I'm saying this is we have to practically see this in what we do. So there are two things we do. One is family and one is job. Both have a mahatva akanksha in that. The mahatva akanksha is, in my case, if I were to take, my son has to be the best doctor. That's a mahatva akanksha. He might not be a doctor also, because I don't know what he's going to become. I can only guide him, I can only coach him, I can only request him to continue doing what he's doing and put in good effort. But let's say he chooses not to put effort due to his karmic deeds. Nothing that I can do, because there is no sun, there is only jivi, and in a jivi anything can come. Meaning at that point in time, rajas might come, sattva might come, tamas might come, and due to that raga might come, dvesha might come, moha might come. So nothing that I can do about that jivi, except for requesting that jivi to use prajna, wisdom, in what it is doing. And I can tell him that, look, you have got so much of punya phala, so you are here, why do you want to waste it? And if he says, no, I intend to waste it, that's his problem, not my problem. Because he cannot give me liberation, nor I can give him liberation. Same thing with the person who has married me, who's taken the role as a wife, but that jivi also is the same. So I can't do anything about that person. It's their karma, their fruits of action. If they don't have moksha as their only thing to work, it's not my problem. Because there is no family as such. That is Jagat. So if I have a Jagat, then Mahatva Akanksha takes over instead of Mokshaya Kanksha. When there is Mahatva Akanksha, then everything has to work out in a very synchronized manner. So my son has to work out well, otherwise it becomes insulting to me when people ask me, what is your son? And I need to proudly say that my son is a doctor, and he has written this or he has written that, he writes journals, or he writes this, and he is a very known doctor and all that. So that I want to say. Now, even if I were to say, after my death, nobody cares about what I said, and nobody cares of that person who dies also. Meaning, he might be the best Ayurvedic doctor with all kind of laurels, but it doesn't really help. Because after that person goes away, everybody forgets about him. And the same case with every one of us, same. So we need to have a good choice. So have a choice, but take a proper choice between poison or nectar. The poison seems to be nectar, and nectar seems to be poison. So we need to use our Viveka to ensure that we choose the nectar which is real, even though it seems like poison initially. In another shloka, Shankara explains that, but then we need to do that choice. That is where the Vivekachudamani comes into existence. That you see the poison in samsara. If we are seeing nectar in the samsara, and that knowing about Vivekachudamani or any other thing is of no use, because it makes no sense of it, because we're still believing that the samsara is a nectar driven life. It's actually too poisonous, too septic to be real about. So first thing we need to do is to treat everyone as a jivi, as against treating everyone as a friend or a daughter or a husband or a son or a wife or brother or sister or whatever. You have to treat everyone as a jivi, and that is the truth. It's the jivi who has come to samsara, not the son or the daughter. After the child was born, it was called as a son. Before the child was born, nobody called it as a son or a daughter. And nobody knows what is sitting inside the tummy of the mother, whether it is a boy or a girl. Okay, now there are tests to confirm whether it's a boy or a girl, but even then it doesn't make any difference. In the first 3 months, nobody can even say what's the gender of that being which is coming. That's the truth. It's just a jivi. And that helps to work out on moksha. Any questions? Otherwise, can I move to 83rd? 83rd is a very nice one.
We can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, the choice 3. We can do a procrastination or liberate. So he says, anukshanam yat parihartavya krityam anadi avidya krita bandha mokshanam deha parartah ayam amushya poshane yaha sajjate sa swam anena hanti. He who is anukshana yat parihatyam krityam, he who is full of body conscious, that I am this body, I am residing in this body, this is a beautiful body, I need to maintain this body, I need to remain healthy forever, and I'm eating only organic food, and I don't eat non-veg, I don't do this, I don't do that, because I care for my body. That person at every moment procrastinate what he ought to be doing, namely anadi avidya krita bandha mokshanam, from beginningless ignorance, which is the cause of the bondage, and to liberate himself from its hold. Dehaha parartha ayam amushya poshane. This body is intended for realizing Paramatma or Brahman. That is why it is nourished. Yaha sajjate saswam anena hanti. He who clings to it just for his own selfish needs, he by the body itself gets destroyed. So 99.99% of the population of humans are of this kind. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So the belief system here is that first you have to do dharma, learn the dharma, then you have to work artha, then you have to do kama, or fulfill all the desires, and automatically that will enter into moksha, which is a very wrong way of understanding. The reason being that, or rather the understanding here is that the first 25 years will go in understanding the dharma, the next 25 years will go in understanding about artha, that means you earn for your living or living for earning or whatever way it is. Then try to exhaust all of your vasanas through the kama and eventually go into the moksha, which rarely happens because the expectation here is after 75 years the person is going to work towards moksha. When the body itself doesn't exist in that way, what moksha he can do or she can do? It's not possible. So the moksha intention should begin within 50. Then by 75 the person is liberated and he can enjoy his as much life remains after that, assuming the person is going to live for 75. What if he dies at 50? Because we don't know when we are going to die anyway, or in what situation we are going to leave this body. But every person clings on to the body, thinking that he is the owner and he is doing every good thing to protect his body, which is not true at all. It's impossible to predict. Even if the person is really taking care of his body in a beautiful way, not had any alcohol in his life, never had smoking, never goes out and eats, he only eats homemade food, doesn't go to the restaurant to eat anywhere, and he is so much well planned in what carbohydrates, what minerals he should eat, and ensuring that the protein is proper and the food grains are proper, the vegetables are proper, and all of that. Even then there is no guarantee that the person can live beyond 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or whatever that age is. So that means the procrastination has no choice. You cannot procrastinate to tomorrow because there is no tomorrow. After we sleep, the body is there or not there, we don't know. The mind is there or that, no, we don't know. The senses are there or not, we don't know, because we don't know. That's the reality. So there is no tomorrow. When there is no tomorrow, what we can realize here is that this body is given for liberation only, not for bondage. So we have to do it immediately without wasting. Otherwise we can keep on procrastination or procrastinating, which eventually gives the new birth. So this body gets destroyed and a new body comes into place. Now the 84th verse talks about, can one choose both? Meaning he will keep his body but also try to look at liberation as another way. That means jumping in two boats, can he do it? So that means to say that, can I choose pleasures of life and as well as be spiritual? That is the question. And Shankara gives a beautiful answer. He says, Sharira poshanarte san ya atmanam didrikshate graham darudhya dhritva nadim tartum sagachati. Sharire poshanarte san, by devoting all the time on himself to the whims and fancies of the body. Ya atmanam drikshate, drik viveka, trying to understand what is this self and who is this self. So he's seeking to rediscover his self. Is like graham is shark, like holding on to a shark, mistaking it for a log while proceeding to cross over a river. That means if we have pleasure seeking mentality, spirituality will not work. It's a false notion that spirituality will work while I'm seeking pleasure outside. Pleasures are with senses. Senses seeks out pleasure. So the consciousness is deceiving itself by pretending it to be liberation. Meaning, just because I understand scriptures, if I take my own example, if I understand scriptures and I start to believe that I've already got liberated, I am a madman actually. Reason being that I might know the scriptures, but I might not have worked so much to really make it real. Meaning, have that experience all the time. So it is like I trying to cross the river with a shark and not observing that it is a shark, but I think it's a log of wood and it will take me to the other side of the river, while the samsara devours me completely. The senses have ability to devour. Just one look is sufficient and it will devour completely without a trace. The person will get pulled. So the consciousness is helpless, because mind association with senses will ensure that it is pulled by the Vishaya, the sense objects. So can we have both? No. The first thing that has to be done is Vairagya. That's the only way out. There is no other way out. No, I am too young to get into it. There is nothing called young or old. No, I have a lot of family obligation. There is no family in the first place. I have a lot of jobs to attend to. There is no job to attend to. You are earning for living, not living for earning. If that is there, then the mumukshatva happens, and that is what is there in the 85th verse. Moha eva maha mrityuhu mumukshoho vapuradishu mohaha vinirjito yena sa mukti pada marhati. Moha eva mahamrutyuhu. This moha, which is the blue flame, can be a moha, can be also a liberation. So once we see this moha, it is liberating. But once we don't see this moha, so infatuated with this body is a death. Not this body, every body. The son or the daughter, or wife, husband, and all of that is individual pieces of the same puzzle. The consciousness is looking different in different bodies. Sharira is coming from the food only. It is not coming from anywhere else. So if somebody has a vasana towards the body, his body or somebody else's body, and believes that he is talking to a daughter or a son or a brother or a father or a mother, or whatever it is, that is absolutely wrong. Yes, there is a relationship, that is true. You have to appreciate and you should be grateful to the relationship. Let's say I have to be grateful to my parents. That is for sure. I need to have a sense of gratitude towards my parent and elders and the teachers. But apart from being grateful and showing gratitude, there's nothing else I can do. I can't save them, except for saving them spiritually. Nothing else can be done. They have to work for their own liberation. I can't promise them liberation. Same thing with friends, same thing with brothers, sisters, same thing with cousins, same thing with friends, same thing with colleagues. Whatever it is, they all are names, but they themselves don't have a form for the name. They're all jivis coming into the samsara to either suffer or to enjoy the fruit of action. That being the case, the moha will not be there. So this infatuation goes away. Moha vinirjito yena. Jita is to win. Vinir is removing the infatuation. So mukti padam arhati. He alone deserves the state of liberation. So if the first thing we need to do is to look at this body, understand what this body consists of, like we looked at yesterday, and when you start contemplating the body, we'll come to see what the body is made up of. So the disgust tendency starts about the body, because this body has to be sustained, and this is sustained only for liberation, not for bondage. That becomes very clear to us. So when that becomes extremely clear, it becomes easy now to work. But this is not for a person who is infatuated already with the body. Just like there are people who work out in gyms and run and this and that, yoga or yogasana, they're able to do 108 Surya Namaskara, and their body is very well toned and all of that, and they keep on taking pictures, post it on Instagram or Facebook or this or that, or make that as a business itself. You come to me, I will teach you yogasana which will make your body like mine. Spirituality is not for them, because they are in complete delusion. Nothing can be done about them. So it is good to leave them alone. If you want to learn yogasana, go and learn yogasana for sustenance of the body. That's all. So if we are going for a long walk, so let's say 15 kilometers I'm able to walk, it doesn't matter. It's not that I am walking, it's the body is going till that, due to consciousness. If I know that much, that is good enough. The jagat is gone. Otherwise, I will put an app and I will start counting. Then I feel very happy about my achievement there. And when I'm very happy with the achievement, I need to take a photograph of that and then share it among my friends, or put it as a WhatsApp status message which talks about how many kilometers I have done, and what is the calorie loss, and what is my progress, and what I want to do next day, and all that. Or if I'm interested, I can get into this different kind of grains eating, and say that you eat millet, or you eat jowar, you eat ragi, and you will be so good in health and all of that. So this is the moha of the body. It's completely deluded, and completely filled with death. The death happens once in the morning when the breakfast is had. After a few hours, again hungry, so there is death. Once in the afternoon, the person eats, and after some time again feels hungry, so there is death. And in the evening, again he partakes food, and again after a few hours he feels hungry, and he goes to sleep. He doesn't know who he is. And the next day happens, and the next day again the breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. So from the time he was born with breakfast, lunch and dinner. These are the only three things what that GV has done, and nothing else. So he says, remove with lock, stock and barrel. Get out and start. Moham jahi maha mrityum dehadara suta dishau yam jitva munayo yanti tad vishnoho paramam padam. Therefore, jahi, which is removing, mahamrityu. So moha is actually an infatuation of everything. How smart I am and how good looking I am. Smart in terms of mind. So we always say smart work versus hard work. You should be working smart, not hard. Hard work is required, but smart work is good. That means you need to have a good intellect and a good body to showcase. So we say you should be able to present very well. Now what is this presentation all about? Presentation is in terms of the body. So you need to wear good shirt and trousers and shoes and a tie and a blazer for a men, and for women something else. And when you go, you are carrying your personality. So this is another thing which gets added to that GV. So now you're carrying a personality. And then there are traits of personality. Then there is a lot of theories about what kind of personality suits what kind of job and this and that. All these are mrityu, because completely deluded. It takes you to heights of infatuation that the person starts believing that that is what is life is all about. So he says, remove this infatuation before Mahamrityu takes it off from you. Dehadara Suta Dishau. Infatuation with one's own body, the wife, children, etc. Yam Jitva Munayo Yanti. By conquering these, sage reach Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam, the supreme state of Vishnu. That is what he talks in the 86th verse. So shall we now discuss, or shall I continue with next one?
We can go to the next one.
Okay. So how do we overcome the fascination for the body? Looks like today I'll be the only person talking for entire 1 hour. Tyak mamsa rudhira snayu medho majja asti sankulam purnam mutra purisha bhyam sthulam nindyam idam vapuhu. So now what we need to do is, sitting in the place where we are sitting, or standing, or whatever posture we are in, observe that I means tyak, skin, mamsa, flesh, rudhira, blood vessels, snayu is tendons, medho is fat, majja is marrow, asti is bones, sankulam, combination of these are developed as these, purnam, completely, mutra, urine, purisha, pieces, bhyam, consisting of sthulam, this gross body, nindyam, idam vapuhu. Ninda is to blame. All the blame a person gets is on this body. If the person is profusely sweating or just sweating and he has not put any kind of perfume, his body odor is quite, or his or her body odor is quite sufficient to make the other person feel irritated. If the person has not brushed his teeth or her teeth, that smell is sufficient enough to feel a disgusting nature. And when we see a person who has gone into the bed, requires a bedpan, now his urine and fecal matter can be seen. It is such a disgusting nature. So this whole body is disgusting nature. And it's the most repulsive, most offensive. So first thing we need to do is to find the repulsion in the body. So you have to create a sense of repulsion for the body. If we don't want to do it, then moksha is impossible. It's just false. To think that I will have good thing about the body, but I will also get liberation. That is what he covered in the earlier verse, 84th verse. Shall I keep pleasures and spirituality? Now, having kept spirituality, the first thing you need to do, we need to cultivate the body disgusting nature. So you should get disgusted of having this body to an extent that you don't want the body to be there after today. That is what we need to do. When we do this, automatically the fascination, the infatuation drops, and the person gets into sannyasa, or rather he gets into vairagya, and that takes him to sannyasa. So the first thing what Shankara recommends in verse number 87 is to create dispassion over the body, his own body, or the wife and husband or daughter, son, all of that. Suta Dishau. Suta is, it can be husband or can be wife. Adi is etc. So once you have Suta, Putra, Putri is going to be guaranteed one. So it's all etc. So if I say I have a son, then I am non-spiritual. That is 100%. I might know this Vivekachudamani end to end, but definitely I am not on spiritual ground, I am on bondage ground. So the first thing I need to do is to remove the Jagat. And while removing the Jagat, I need to remove the fascination, the infatuation for the body. So this is the mantra what we need to have. That Tvak Mamsa Rudira Snayu Medo Majja Asti Sankulam Purnam Mutra Purisha Bhyam Sthulam Nindyam Idam Vapuhu. This is the mantra what I need to keep on uttering all the time. So if somebody calls my name is Tvak Mamsa Rudira Snayu Medo Majja Asti Sankulam Purnam Mutra Purisha Bhyam Sthulam Nindyam Idam Vapuhu. If I keep on reciting on this and observing the disgusting nature of urine and feces, and some time ago I had spoken about spitting your own food and putting it back to the food, that is also required. Depending upon how much fascination I have on the food, I have to use this. And Shankara says you have to create this sense of repulsion. If you can't, then moksha is not possible. So this is the first step, is to remove the fascination for the body. 9:28. So we will continue tomorrow on the various experiences what you're going to get.
Like a rapid fire round.
Nobody asked me anything, so I kept on going around that.
I had no doubts to ask, but it's very interesting. Both the Stula Sharira and this Manasika Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, both are of useless. And that is what it says here.
Yes. No,
And
we
it
are.
also gives you a feel that this will not add any value.
Yes.
Especially that the crocodile, when you can you do both together means he has clearly mentioned that's like a journey on crocodile.
Yes.
Or shark, yes.
Yeah, shark.
Or whatever.
So-
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
So now the choice is ours. You want to have
yeah,
pleasure?
this is a clearly guide. This is clearly what you call do's and don'ts.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he comes directly to the point.
Yeah, that is what the Shankara is all about.
So Vivekachudamani is not for the people beginners. This is after going through something.
Yes, of course. It is it has a very high standard. Shankara himself has a very high standard, right? So all his
Yeah.
works are from that standard.
Yes. It is not for the faint-hearted.
So he has given two things. One is that you do puja gija and make this your manashuddhi, do it. That also he has given. And his real teaching is this.
Yes.
And also, I think we cannot force spirituality on anyone. You yourself has to feel that, okay, enough is enough. And you have seen it, and then when you start thinking, then is when it is really the spirituality will take off. Otherwise, I guess in Bhagavad Gita also they say, don't disturb the people who are enjoying.
Correct. Correct. You should not.
So-
You should not disturb anyone who is enjoying the pleasure. Let them enjoy.
Sometimes is now you have some desire. If you have desire, you have to bring it naturally, organically to zero. Not all of a sudden, tomorrow onwards I will not have bed coffee. Suddenly you will have some other reactions.
No, nothing is going to happen. Because, see, but the thinking here is that mind is known to procrastinate. It will always think about tomorrow. Okay, so now exact word what you said. Coffee, should you stop it today? If today is your last day, would you still want to continue coffee? And then only the
But
moksha.
I understand. It's like a habit, right? Finally the tea remains. It. So you have to bring it through your mano nigraha, not like suicide. This is like I will stop tomorrow. I think the people, for example, when they go to say, for example, hospital, and you have some habits. If you suddenly change that habit, your disease will not come down. You have to slowly bring it down. That is what our Sukshma Sharira is, right?
No, it's not
The
like
personality cannot be killed from today to tomorrow. That's the reason we need sadhana.
the sadhana is to see the poison.
Correct. Understand it's poison.
So once I understand coffee is poison, I'll stop.
Yeah, so the way, so from whatever videos I was watching from Vilas of Buddha teaching, so let's say we are drinking coffee every day. Okay, so you get some enjoyment in drinking that coffee. So that's why you want to repeat that enjoyment the next day also, the next day also, and the next day also. You don't want to give that enjoyment up. It's not that you're drinking coffee. After drinking the coffee, you have that enjoyment. That is what you're looking for. And that looking for, so once you've drank the coffee, if tomorrow also you want to have it, that is called greed. I was not looking greed at that way, actually. So, greed I was thinking in some other way, but then this is also a kind of a greed. So you need to stop that craving. So, and that's possible only if you know that there is that better enjoyment is possible. Otherwise, the mind will not give up.
Correct.
So that enjoyment, mind has to taste. Unless and until it tastes, it will not be able to give up coffee or food or whatever, and the nice dresses you wear and whatever, and anything. So it is that way. But what you say is right. It is not suddenly that you can decide that tomorrow onwards I will not have coffee. So it will have a impact. You will not be able to do it. It will be very difficult. Something else you will replace in that place.
Yes. And,
Yep.
and then you need to replace with meditation so that these craving will go away. So you have to make meditation as a habit so that these cravings will go away, or these likings for coffee, tea and food and all that will go away. Otherwise the mind hooks onto that. It wants something.
But is it possible, say, suddenly in change in life can bring a lot of changes within? For example, somebody's death in the family. Now this pandemic, because our lifestyle is completely changed. And similarly, spiritual, is it possible to bring people from existing stage? They are non-spiritual, for example. They have very tamoguna. Can we suddenly bring them overnight to
Yes, that is
Sattva-guna?
yes, that is what both Shankara and Buddha teachings are all about, and other teachings say that you cannot. Both,
Possible overnight.
yeah, that is what.
Actually, you have got examples of happening overnight, right? Buddha himself was an overnight.
Yes,
And if you take Arunagirinathar, whom Lata was referring to, it was overnight. It is just that you have to feel that, again, the chigupse for that life, meaning that whole life which you have led, you have to feel that's not worth it.
Yeah, correct. So if you are able to get that,
Yes. Yes,
then
but
you need it.
it is instantaneous actually. That also is very instantaneous is what I feel.
yeah, that is
That
what
is
it is.
right now here is Shankaracharya's teaching, Aham Brahmasmi is right then.
Yes.
So,
100%.
Vilas, when that will happen to me?
I'm
That was the ultimate question that
I really appreciate you, but see, I'm really targeting you, so let it happen soon. In
he was always asking you easy questions. Now he has given you the very tough questions.
So, that is the reason I have not disturbed you throughout your today's talk. I think nowadays I have reduced.
no, it is okay.
That
No,
flow cuts unnecessarily.
no, it is
No,
okay.
but it is good. It's good, but to ask questions. So, when
See,
you have questions, you should ask.
but one thing, but there is nothing called I taking good or I taking bad about it, because then I'm not even a spiritual person. Secondly, if you ask the same question again and again and again and again, also it's okay. Because if I am taking offensive of that, it means that I myself require somebody to tell me what I should be doing. So the only thing I need to see is how better I can help you if you're asking the same question again and again. So I keep on telling Lata that, look, he asked this question earlier, now he has asked again. But I don't feel agitated or worried or whatever it is, because I genuinely want you to experience it. So
And that questions will go away only when you see the glimpse of it.
yes, and to be honest, but as much as Lata has eaten my brain, I think you have not even done 1/3 of it.
I don't know. I have not even realized that actually. Yeah.
No,
For 1.5 years, I ate his head like anything. My only thing was, I don't know what I was asking also. But I know that I have troubled him so much.
So if I compare her effort with your effort, after this class, you don't even ask me anything until we meet the next day. So I'm very happy that you are you are progressing at your pace. If you were like Lata, by now I would have, I don't know what would have happened to me. Because she used to, after the finishing, she keeps on pinging me, asking me, you didn't tell me this, why did you tell me that? So now I have to remember what did I tell her and what is she trying to tell me now. And one day she told me that you are not interested in teaching me also. And another day she said that she no longer feels like she should be attending to the class. And then somebody came in her dream and said that she should be continuing. So she has done so many things. So to get rid of her, I have to do something or the other.
Still, he said he couldn't get rid of me. See.
So the thing is like this, but if you were to trouble me all the time, definitely you will get it. And same thing holds good for Padma Shri also. So if we are taking this as just
Because maximum time I am on my own.
no, that is what you should not do. This is what I can tell you, because if you are on your own, it is good. After you see it, you be on your own only, because then you don't feel like asking anything, because you already seen it.
Till the time these questions will rage and rage.
I want that to happen before finishing this
Definitely happen. It'll definitely
Vivekachudamani.
No, you don't require to go so far. You keep on eating my brain. In a week or two, you will have it. So,
like I ate his brain for 4.5 years.
so the choice is with both of you, whether you want to interact with me after this class also and disturb me and talk to me and fight with me, or whatever you want, you can do it. I don't feel bad. But I want you to experience that which Lata has experienced. That will be a very good thing to experience.
I still remember how I hit your head for that, but I was not sure what I was asking also. To be honest, I never knew anything about that meditation, and I had no clue what I asked and what you told. I don't remember, honestly. And Srihari was also there during that time,
Yes,
I think, on that Saturday.
Yes. He was also there, but he couldn't understand anything, but you could understand it. That's all.
I don't know what I understood. Maybe there is something has worked in my mind or whatever. So, and then after that, all the questions subsided. I became calm. Before I was very agitated, I felt. I was very, what do you say? I don't know, restless and desperate or whatever you can call it. Then suddenly I became calm. I can see it within myself, how I was before and how I am after.
So, Vilas, when you have something called Atma Sakshi, okay, that is therefore with everyone, it is gifted by God, Atma Sakshi.
Yes.
So, you have to follow whatever the Atma Sakshi says, right? Whatever the message
Very
comes
true.
inside.
Very true. But we don't do that. We are bound by the mind. The Atma itself is bound by the mind. Atma Sakshi is pure Sakshi. There is nothing, no mind in that. I'll give you an
No,
example.
see, the thing is, sometimes when you are very calm, the message comes from your own Atma.
That is true.
When you get that message, if you follow that, that is much better than any force, right?
No,
because nothing can be forced on anybody.
That is just an intuition. That is not Atma Sakshi. It is just an intuition. That is not even the depth of it. The depth of it is you become that Tattvamasi. There is no you left at all. Okay, and you are at peace with anything you see. And everything moves like a Sakshi. I'll give an example, which I had already done, but it is actually worth it. When you see, let us say, by this practice, if you were to see all objects arising and passing away, when you are seeing through eyes, and you turn from left to right or right to left, you should see all the articles falling away. And that is Atma Sakshi. Your Atma is watching each of this object. It is not attached to any one of this object. The mind comes in between and attaches to that object. You can see the difference. Same thing with sound, same thing with touch, same thing with smell, same thing with thought, same thing with taste. Then you have really cultivated Atma Sakshi. That's a practice what we need to do. Then you are always in intuition, not that it just springs up one day. You are always in intuition, and you are always at peace, because there is no person at all. No longer the personality exists. So you have looked at Anitya and Nitya. Nitya is without personality, Anitya is with personality.
One thing is very true. If you are sailing in samsara, that's the worst thing for any jiva.
Yes, so first we need to make ourselves as a GV. Then only you will see how much you are struggling in this world. We are making it a Jagat. So everything looks very honky-dory or very enjoyable and all that. See, even in this COVID time, people would like to visit some place for enjoyment. Let's say, and they feel that how many days should we sit at home? So this is what Loka is all about, world. Forget about procrastination. They're in complete moha, delusion, because they want to enjoy. But you can enjoy at your home all the time, not feeling bored even for a moment. And that is the bliss.
Because for us to enjoy now, we have to hold on to something.
Yes.
If nothing is there, some spiritual book. That is also equally bad.
Yes. So you need to practice the art of holding on to indriyas. So what you can do is that you ask me this question, when will I get it? You have to do something like what Lata did, and then you will get it. So you have to keep on calling me or chatting with me or doing something in a way that you can even abuse me. I have no problem, and then you will get it.
I think when I have mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, naham, right?
Yes. I don't mind any kind of thinking till you get it, and that's the reason I'm actually targeting you, so that you can it just comes up. It just it just takes a fraction of a second to get that, but once you get it, it's like the cycling. Once you get it, you know how to ride.
Yes.
So you try it out, and then when you get stuck, give me a call or message. Same thing with you, Padmashri. So, and then
Daily I am doing on my own way, which is convincing to me that I should do. Because my degree of Deha, Abhimana, and Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, Abhimana, and all that, the degree has to come down.
that's correct.
That is called sadhana, which I am doing it.
No, that is correct. But one caution thing is that till you really see it, doing it on your own will not get you anything, because the mind will convince itself that what you're doing.
No, I am doing based on the teachings only, right?
No, that is correct. But then what you need to do is you need to have that blissful state, and that you have to try it out. The trial is like this. There are only two things what you can do. One, you have to position yourself like a light in the room. Practice this. Okay, light in the room, and see every object without passion. Just the light in the room. This is difficult. This is what Lata was able to get it. I don't know how she was able to understand it and all that. It is her punya. And there is second one is an observer and observed effect. So you need to create an observer. There's only two things, like what Kanakadasa did. He made Krishna being there all the time, or Purandaradasa, or anyone who made sure that somebody is watching. And when Kanakadasa was asked, can you eat, why don't you eat this banana, if like go somewhere and eat where nobody can see you. And other guys went to eat, but he said, where will I run? Everywhere I'm being watched. That kind, if you are able to do it, it hardly takes 1 hour, but you will pick it up. There are only 2 ways. Whether you follow Shankara, you follow Buddha, you follow whomever you want to follow. This is only 2 ways. So what you need to do is, like what Lata did, is that when you walk from one room to another room, just watch who is walking. It will click. I'm telling you, it will click. Like you are naming it as your daughter room. You just go there and see where is the daughter. Don't mentally feel that she's in America. Okay. You have a better opportunity because you have named some room as your daughter room. Just go there. Don't mentally make it that she's staying in America. Make it she's not there, but yet called as a daughter. That's all. It'll open up.
Yeah, so that's what how I got. I was walking from one room to the other and I was observing who is walking. And it just clicked. And then moment and the bliss will come. That's it, instantaneous.
And it is not step by step at all, but like what you think that, okay, after stick, it just comes immediate. Then you were at 0 1 minute ago, now you are at 100 in just a wink. So now what you can do is you both can do another thing, Padma Shri and but what you can do is, next meeting what you have, just watch who is the person who is meeting. That's another way. Keep on observing. You will only start hearing to the sound. You will never hear to a person. And you yourself will vanish. And again the bliss will come. Once you pick that up, you can be in that all the time. Because mind will now latch on to that. It will drop idea of drinking tea or coffee or food or this or that, because now the mind is very happy. It has dropped the senses. This is another thing to do.
Yeah.
When you say itself, that bliss feeling comes into my heart.
Yeah. Now what you need to do is Drig Drishya Viveka. Drig is meeting. Drishya is who is meeting. Viveka is what is real, what is unreal. Try this out. All the meetings today. Try it. It will break. It's like a stone and you keep on hitting and it breaks into 100 parts. The same thing will happen. Drig is the meeting. Drishya is the person who is going to have this meeting. Viveka, what is real, what is unreal. Drig is also unreal. Drishya is also unreal. There is nothing called as a meeting. It's only the sound which comes from a computer. Or the observer and observed effect is the best thing. You are yourself the observer and you are the one who is getting observed. The mind is getting observed and you are the observer. So you have to be very stern with the mind. You have to make on looking at who is watching, who is watching, who is watching, who is watching. And after a few minutes, the mind will start to think that, oh, I am being watched, I am being watched, I am being watched.
It's like watching whirlpool. Initially you are there, later on you are also along with that.
Yes, exactly. You try these stunts, it will work and you will feel so blissful. And once you get that bliss, you will drop everything. All the questions you have in life is erased forever. So then you will understand Vivekachudamani in a very different way, and if you were to watch the videos of Buddha, what I've been putting, that you will get a deeper experience, because then
See, the thing is, I told you, but during Gayatri, I am getting, and it is now becoming more and more and more. That time I forget Gayatri also. It goes up to that level. But it is momentary, not for long.
correct.
But every Gayatri it comes. Then I restricted my Gayatri. Earlier I should do 28. Now I restricted to only 10. Because I said whatever I do, it should be quality. So I forget everything including Gayatri.
That is correct. So that is what will happen. You will drop Drig and Drishya.
Yeah, see, that happens through the mantra Shakti, my feeling.
No.
What?
No. That is not happening like that. That is what you feel. It is happening from inside. Mantra is just a tool.
That's a pure feeling what I have. But it is momentary.
That is correct.
It's like, 2 seconds, something like that.
No, you feel it is happening due to mantra. You are making the tool as real. Make the tool itself as a tool. Then it becomes in everything. See, Gayatri mantra is a tool. It is not itself the end of it. So you have to make that. Then it works. It's almost 10.
Oh, okay. I'm just closing my eyes and listening to you.
Okay, no, I don't mind continuing.
Yeah.
I don't mind continuing. If you all have time, I don't mind.
No, I think this is fine for today.
Okay, all right.
Now, Vivekachudamani is my Bible.
Okay. Done.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.